Gayle is here with us to talk about this fascinating interview,
yeah.
Gayle. I mean, she is really somebody in the administration that I think everyone wants to talk to.
I know, and she just called me. You know, we've been asking, as I said, everybody and their cat has been asking for an interview with Ivanka Trump, and I would certainly put myself in that category. You know, you'd reach out occasionally. And then she called the office last week and said that she's been thinking about it, that, you know, she feels that she's been mischaracterized by, it's almost like Anne Maria, damned if you do and damned if you don't. And she said, I just want to sort of speak my piece, let people have a sense of me this early. You know, it's not even 100 days yet, as we know, it's 70-something.
Yeah.
And she just wanted to get out of head. She has a book coming out in May. She didn't want it to appear like I'm out there now talking, trying to promote my book. So let me do an interview ahead of time before I go on a book tour and let people see this is where I'm thinking, this is what I do, and this is why I do it.
And this is who I am.
And this is who I am.
What
exactly
what is the sort of takeaway when you walked away from that interview? You thought Ivanka Trump is what? I
think Ivanka Trump is smart, sophisticated, very poised. She is her father's daughter. She loves her father very much. And as she said, she would never publicly disagree with him or put him down or say anything negative. And I think as a daughter, I think everybody gets that.
Yeah.
But she also made it clear I have his ear and I speak to him often and candidly about things that matter to me. And so he's aware of that.
That was, I think, one of the most fascinating portions of the interview, Gayle. You specifically asked her to address the criticism that many have had that she is complicit in some way with
that word
complicit. There was even an ad, a fake ad on SNL that sort of used that as...
There was a big column in the New York Times.
Yes. She addressed that. What did she say?
Well, she said, if me being complicit is a force for good, then call me complicit. But the problem is not everyone thinks that her dad is a force for good, and she's aware of that. But, you know, she said, listen, no matter what I do, people are going to say something about me. But she believes in her father, too. Let me just say that. She believes in her father. She thinks, of course, he will be a good president, that he is a good president, and that he will do great things for this country. But has everything gone right? Does she agree with every decision? Absolutely not.
You did ask her.
She doesn't like the word complicit.
Well, yeah, I mean,
she says it's bothersome that people would think that.
Well, because I think
like that word, bothersome.
Her father has, for a lot of people, as you point out, he's represented some notions and some ideals that seem for a lot of people to, for example, attacking the press or rolling back some regulations. And the question, I guess, is she told you that her father does listen to her. Did you get the sense that that's true, that she can push back on the president?
I do. And I think that there have been reports that in some of the speeches he was planning to say X, but after Ivanka and Jared talked to him, he has softened his position on some things. I think that he does listen and pay attention to what he says. But I also think Donald Trump is very much his own man.
Right.
At the end of the day, he will do exactly what he wants to do. But I think that he takes his daughter's counsel and he trusts her. You know, one question I didn't get a chance to ask yesterday, because we interviewed Eric Trump on Inauguration Day, and he said, I said, you know, what's been the hardest thing for the family? He said, letting new people in. And it's one of those things when the interview's over where you're getting this rap, and you're getting the stink eye, like, hurry up.
We know that feeling.
Yes, we know that feeling. But I wanted to ask her, you know, your brother had said that one of the hardest things for the family is letting people in. And when you look at the people he surrounds himself, it is family members and people that he trusts. There aren't a lot of outsiders that he doesn't really know. And
well, I was thinking, you know, prior to him getting into politics, certainly he was outspoken and there would have been some people who disagreed with his politics, but other than that, he was a showman, right? And the family, by and large, was well-liked, respected, and suddenly now they're in a completely different realm. Politics now, where the speech is very divisive, people speak in extremes, and this it must take a lot of getting used to that for many, many people, you are going to be either all good or horrible.
All bad, Yeah, and you know, when you're running your own company, you're now accountable to the American people. And it's very different when not everybody loves you. That's very, very different. And I think, you know, she said it's been a learning curve and they've all had to get used to that. But they remain committed to why they're in the office. They will say repeatedly, the American people put us here because they want change.
Right.
They like what we're doing. You know, we talk about approval ratings, and she said, yeah, but that's called politics. That's politics. So we will see. We will see.
Did you talk
I was surprised that she let us come to her house. I just assumed that we would have to go to the White House. And she said, no, you know, please come. I want you to see, you know, this is how I live. This is what we do. And I was very appreciative that she was, I thought, very open with us and very candid, I thought.
Did you talk at all about Melania and, you know, some of the criticism or curiosity is whether or not her role is overlapping with the First Lady?
No, I certainly thought about that, but there's this thing called rap and you get the stink eye.
Yes.
But I did have that, but no, I didn't talk to her about that.
Let me ask you, Eric Trump.
And I also think, what is she going to say? She's not going to say anything about if there is any feelings between her and Melania. And I've never heard that there is friction between the two of them.
There's been some criticism as well directed at her and the rest of her family with regards to nepotism. Her brother Eric Trump recently this week said that nepotism is a factor of life. Now, we sometimes have short-term memories in this country. President Kennedy had his brother
as and the Attorney General.
And also Teddy eventually went into politics. Eleanor Roosevelt, the wife of FDR, was heavily involved in helping her husband make decisions, especially later in his life. But this criticism of nepotism, where you see her getting this responsibility, and a lot of people say, look, Jared, Ivanka, these folks are getting these jobs simply because their dad is president of the United States. But on the other hand, people can understand you'd want the best for your children too.
And the people you trust.
And the people you trust.
And the people that you trust. And they don't make any apologies for that. You know, they're very aware of how and why they got these jobs, but they also think that they bring something to the table. And when I said, you know, the thing about Jared that people are concerned, he has very high-level positions. And seems
basically
to be
running the world.
In everything.
Well, you know, in Mexico, China, immigration, the innovation project. How is he qualified to do this? I said some people are either cringing or they're either celebrating that here is someone that doesn't have political and military experience who's involved in doing this. And she said, well, they also elected a president that didn't have the experience that had never been happened before, that we had never seen before. So, you know, and she also made a point of this. She said, I'm not trying to change the rules, break the rules, or bend the rules. No one in my family is. So any charges of nepotism, we are following everything to the letter of the law, which is why she became a federal employee, because people were saying, well, you're in the White House, what are you doing? So she said, all right, I'll become a federal employee and subject to all of the rules. And she gets no salary, as we know, but it's not like she needs a salary.
I think that people I think what a lot of people will take away from this interview is, and I think it's the hope that some people have, especially if you did not vote for President Trump, which is that she will act as a buffer to some of the president's sometimes off-the-cuff remarks or policy decisions, that she will be able to soften them, and perhaps even Jared Kushner will be able to do that because the president does trust them.
You may disagree with how her tactics in not speaking up, but you can't disagree that she is impressive, that she is poised, and that she's very sophisticated, and she is very smart, and she has the president's ear. And I don't think that is a downside for her. So
one last question. I know we're getting a wrap.
Yeah,
Gayle,
we are.
But I want,
are you ignoring raps
yes,
too?
And John McGlinchey, our producer, is going to kill me after this. But I have to ask this question because it just made me think of something. We talk a lot about her being her father's daughter. Did you at all talk about her mother?
No, we didn't.
Didn't? Okay, yeah, it's interesting.
She's close to her mother.
Yeah.
But you know what? Her mother isn't president of the United States.
That's true.
Right.
I mean, and so, but her mother was certainly involved in the upbringing of the three children, of Eric, Donald, and Ivanka.
Right.
But no, I've talked to her about her mother before. I did not talk to her about it in this interview.
Interesting.
Right.
Interesting.
Do you have anything else, Vladimir Duthier?
No, because I'm gonna, yes, I probably do, John McGlinchey.
I'm just going to sort of keep talking and throw to the break, and you guys can talk.
I will just say this to you, Anne-Marie Green. It's good to be with you.
Good to be with
to have
you.
you.
Line in the morning, and I love it.
I love that.
Glad
I
I
love
was
hanging out with you.
I do. Thank you, guys.
All right. Well, thank you so much.